So I've been on a mission to learn how to draw with soft pastels. I've seen so many incredible, beautiful works of art done with soft pastels, and this medium has me intrigued. So I gave myself the challenge to learn how to draw portraits with soft pastels in a week. Portraits because I love painting portraits, and apparently I like to make life hard for myself. Because let me tell you that drawing portraits with soft pastels is so much harder than drawing landscapes. At least for me it is. I struggled a lot, and you can be the judge and see for yourself if I managed to create anything good. But first let's talk about what soft pastels are. Soft pastels are totally different than oil pastels. Yes, they both have a similar stick shape and use the same pigments, but the binder is different. So for oil pastels, the binder is a non-drying oil, and soft pastels usually use something like natural gum, for example. Soft pastels are also powdery and not sticky, unlike oil pastels. Right now I have two sets of soft pastels. This one by Paul Rubens, which they were so kind to provide for me recently, and another one by Kohinoor, which I have had for about a year now and probably only used twice. Now that I have my soft pastels ready, let's start learning. So it's the first day of me trying to learn how to draw with soft pastels. And before I draw anything, I want to familiarize myself with the medium to just get a feel for it. So I want to try out different techniques and test different kinds of paper to see what could work and what not. Because I didn't buy any specific pastel paper because that is so expensive. So I will just try out a bunch of different ones that I have. The next thing I usually do when learning a new medium is to look at works of art done in this medium. And these artworks are usually the reason why I wanted to pick up the medium in the first place. So in this case I looked at portraits done with soft pastels and saved the ones I liked either on Pinterest or Instagram. I looked at the old masters like Degas, but also a lot of contemporary artists I follow on Instagram. Once I did that, I decided to do a master study. Making studies of other artists' work is so helpful in so many ways. You learn about composition, the colors they used, maybe you can even see how they made certain strokes and you can try to mimic that. This way you can just concentrate on your medium instead of having to come up with an original concept that you might not be able to achieve right away, never having used the medium before. Of course, remember to never claim it as your own work and always give credit. So the first study I did was of one of Andu artist's work, and he's an artist I found on TikTok and Insta who also posts on YouTube now. I absolutely love his pastel portraits and he is one of my biggest pastel inspirations right now. I kind of followed one of his process videos and it really helped me to understand and see how he layers the colors. I liked how my study turned out and it gave me a first feel for the pastels and how to layer them and work with them. So it was really helpful. day 2 of learning how to draw with soft pastels, and before I try to draw an original piece, I wanted to do another study because I don't feel that confident with the medium yet. This time I found an oil painting by Sargent, so I have to translate oil paint into soft pastel. The result will look different, of course, but I think this study will help me again with understanding how to layer the colors, and I can experiment with the pastels again. I'm using this watercolor paper that I have sanded down because I have seen some pastel artists on YouTube recommend doing this instead of just buying expensive pastel paper. So let's see if that will work. I hope it does. So before I started drawing with the soft pastels, I sketched a portrait and toned the paper with a thin layer of watercolor. It was harder to get accurate colors because I obviously can't see Sargent's process and don't know which colors he used and how he layered them. And since I'm translating oil paint to soft pastel, the colors can't be identical, and of course the texture is so different. Soft pastels are very dusty, and I had to get used to the mess they make, but sanding down the watercolor paper was really helpful because less dust was created and the pigment settled better into the paper. The study turned out alright. I don't love it, but it was a good practice. For day 3, I finally wanted to create my own drawing. But let me tell you, it did not work out how I wanted to. I tried a different paper this time, which wasn't great. The colors just didn't work and everything turned very muddy. I was very frustrated at this point. Okay, I hate this so much. I hate the paper, this is not working out. So I'm going to destroy it and try again on a different paper. Yeah, I just hate this. On day 4, I tried again to draw an original piece. I used a different reference, and this time it was a close-up of the face just so it was easier to draw details, because it's kind of hard to draw small details with soft pastels because of their shape. I used the sanded watercolor paper again, and that worked better than the paper I tried out the day before. But still, this piece also didn't work out. It was better than the last one, but I still wasn't happy with it. This is what it looks right now. It's so bad. I hate it. I'm so frustrated. Like, this is so hard. Why is this so hard? I don't really know which colors to use so it doesn't end up all muddy. Nothing is working out. I think I need to do another study because I clearly don't know how to use pastels. So the next day, that's what I did. I found this beautiful drawing by Judy Drew, and I absolutely loved the movement in it that was created by this kind of hatching method. It was so fun to recreate and to create something that finally looked good, even though this is of course not my original work. But it showed me what's possible and what can be created with soft pastel. To be honest, it's so easy for me to get discouraged if I don't see good results immediately. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. But I have to remember that I'm learning a new medium. I can't be a master of it when I've never used it before. It takes time and practice, a lot of practice and a lot of failed pieces. So doing the study helped me a lot to get motivated again. I tried this hatching method, which I love, and learned how to create a nice skin tone. Also, I really liked working on this paper. Already having a tone background makes it so much easier to establish the correct values. So for day 6, I was ready and determined to finally create a good original piece. I used the same tone paper again and started with a light sketch. I'm kind of nervous to start this one because I feel like I have gotten better and this will prove if I have or not, and I'm scared that it's just not going to turn out good. But if it's not, then we'll just have to try again. So far, so good. I do like how this bra turned out. I don't think it needs anything else added to it. I don't like the arm right now. Have to work on that. Obviously, the face needs detail. There needs to be quite a few more layers. But I think we're getting there. I'm always kind of indecisive how to continue. What to do next? Okay, I think I'm going to leave it like this. I don't hate it. At least it's so much better than the ones I did before. And I think it's because I learned a lot from the last study and I didn't try as much to make it look like one of Ando's pieces. I can't be at his level yet anyway, and I don't want to be a copy of him or copy him in any way. Yeah, so I try to be less careful and less afraid in a way with this piece, and I think it worked out. I think I'm getting there. Also, the reference picture might just have worked better than the last ones I tried. And I do like working on this paper. You can't layer too many layers, but for this one I think it was fine. And this is Strathmore toned grey paper, by the way. So I'm quite happy. I am motivated again. Like, I think I can make pastels work. They are fun if you know how to use them. So let's continue with the next piece. By day 7, I felt much more comfortable and confident with the pastels. This last drawing I did is technically not a portrait and more of a scene drawing, but I was really inspired and in the mood to draw this. And I love how it turned out. As usual, I started with a light sketch and then started drawing the lightest values first. So in this case, the sea, the sea foam and the sand. And then I added the darker values like the girl's hair and skin. I used the colors quite instinctively, but what's more important than the color choice anyway is getting the values correct. So I was paying a lot of attention to that. I was also careful to not overblend and keep the texture of the pastel. So this is how it looks right now. I do like it, but I think I need to work a bit more on the ocean because as you can see, the wave kind of flows down here, but this all seems very straight, like it's not belonging to this bit. Maybe I need to add a bit of color here or a bit of movement, like that it's going down. And I don't love the color of the dress. I think it looks too similar to the ocean, but I don't know what I could do to make it look better. So yeah, have to think about that and try something out. And of course I need to add details to her face. She doesn't have a face right now. Yeah, the face won't be too detailed, but just a hint of an eye would be great. But I do like it. I like the paper. I like how it looks on this paper. We're getting there. I'm very excited. I love how this piece turned out. This was so fun to draw and I feel like I finally got the hang out of these soft pastels. They are so fun, very frustrating at times, especially in the beginning, but really fun. I definitely learned a lot this week. Of course I have to practice a lot more and find my style with these, but I love this medium. And if you take anything away from this video at all, I hope it's the assurance that it's never too late to start something new, to learn something new. You can't become a master overnight or even in 7 days. It takes time and practice, a lot of practice, but eventually you will get there. See you next time.